growing up, my sister and I are 11 months apart, and we really worked hard to be different than one another. She was very artsy, and I went the opposite way. So I didn't ever think I was creative or artsy. My mom, though, we were always making something, whether it was gifts or painting our furniture for college or whatever. So creativity was always a part of my growing up in my life. And then when my kids were 2 and 4, I was making jewelry at the kitchen table just for fun, as gifts, just kind of something to do. It was easy to do while they were napping, and I could clean it up. And then soon it just kept getting bigger and bigger, and it didn't clean up as easily, and kind of just lived on the kitchen table for a while. And then I took over the living room, and I just had such good feedback from people that I thought, well, maybe I could do this for a career, for a future. And so it would give me the flexibility to be home with my kids. And it just seemed like the more that I created, the more creativity would blossomed and more ideas I had. So Mama Peacock is one of a kind, mostly jewelry business, accessory business. I have done everything from mixed media wall art to modified dress forms for people in their homes, like large life size. And then now I've just kind of focused on jewelry because it's smaller scale, easier to transport, that kind of thing. And then Mama Peacock, I named it after my mom. Peacock is my maiden name, and being a Sarah, my generation, it was kind of fun to have a unique name like Peacock. And my married name is Dorn, which is fine, but it's a little short and boring. So being able to use the Peacock for my business name is fun. So really, a good friend and I were at a craft. I lived in Ames, Iowa at the time, and we went to Des Moines to a craft or arts festival, and we had so much fun, and we loved all the jewelry, but we're like, oh, we can't afford that. You know, we both had little kids, and so we're like, well, we could make that. And so we went to Hobby Lobby, and we got some beads, and we started playing around, and we're like, ooh, this is harder than we thought. So my parents were living in Sioux Falls at the time, and I took a couple of bead classes at the bead store there. And that's kind of how I got started. And I've taken additional classes throughout the years. Most recently, I was in Portland, Oregon, and took a class with Susan Leonard Casimir. She's like my jewelry idol and rock star. And that was really cool. I learned a lot doing that. And then just with technology now, you can find so much, whether it's a paid course I take online or if I look on YouTube, or even just like pushing myself. I always joke, I have a couple of different torches that I use, and I haven't blown myself up yet. So I just keep trying and keep pushing. So I really love people. I love talking to people, whether it's in line at the grocery store or wherever. I just really am inspired by people and their stories. I love being outside. Like I was born in Rapid City. We lived there until I was 8, and we were always outside in the Black Hills, whether it was fishing, cutting down our Christmas tree. And I just think it's really interesting when you are hiking or walking and you see, like, I mean, the Black Hills are a perfect example of, you know, driving across the state, you start seeing the Badlands and the changing, the texture of the rocks. And then you see all those trees together and how concentrated the color is. And as you get closer, you see like, oh, there's some dead trees in there, but there's some like this color, and there's aspen, and there's this. And that's what I love about my jewelry, is that because it is handmade, there's from far away, it looks like one thing, but as you get closer, you notice those details. And I think growing up, we always went shopping at antique stores. So just appreciating the slight imperfections and things that stand the test of time. And so if I need inspiration, I'll go downtown to our antique stores or like the kitchen store. I love our kitchen store. It's so bright and colorful. Really anything can inspire me. My daughter was laughing at me. We were at Disney like 4 or 5 years ago, and I was taking pictures of the tile in the bathroom because I love the color combination, and just really anything inspires me. So sometimes I sit down and sketch out what I want to make. Like I'll have an idea and I'll sketch it out because I don't want to forget or lose that idea. And sometimes I'm working on another thing and my bench is littered with supplies and different things. And it'll come to me in that way that like, oh, I wonder what these two things would look like. And that's how it happens. It's pretty organic. I kind of think it's an advantage in some ways that I don't have formal training in jewelry making or metalsmithing. I've just kind of taught myself mostly or taken classes. So I don't think like, oh, I can't do it this way, it's wrong. So just figuring it out, and that makes it truly unique and one of a kind then. I think, like I said, just the fact that really what kind of pushed me to learn to do things more, to have like a broader skill range and tools in my toolbox to be able to do things was I first started out doing, like, I would find vintage pieces at antique stores, and so then they were one of a kind that way. And then I was getting things from the craft store, and then, that was really easy for people to copy. And so then I was like, well, how can I make it so that nobody else can make this exact piece or make it like mine? And so that's kind of what makes it unique, is I really do work hard that my pendants are made by me and sourced by things that maybe other people don't have access to. And I think I have a unique vision on jewelry. I'm not, ironically, I don't wear a lot of jewelry, or I didn't before I started making it. And I like it to be a little rustic, not super refined, but like a little bit of bling and a little bit of rustic. So I think that is what makes it unique and different, is that it's kind of mixed and not just one or the other. I love beads, and I'm really lucky. I get to shop for beads at the South Dakota Art Museum when they shop for beads. And so those are natural gemstones, but then I also love check glass beads. My husband and I, several years ago, we were in Ithaca, New York, and we went to Cornell, and we went to the glass museum there, and watching glass being made is so cool. And so, like, especially those tiny little check glass beads. So I have some necklaces in mind that I want to really mix those up in big and chunky. I've been doing a lot of dainty lately, and so I want to go back to big and chunky. I also am working on a line of collegiate jewelry. Ironically, 11 years ago when I started this, I thought, oh, everybody does jewelry, but I'll do school jewelry because nobody really does that. And just in the process of exploring and making things, that kind of got put on the back burner. And so now I'm kind of bringing that back to the front, working on several universities' jewelry line. I think what people love about it is I work really hard to source good quality materials and then also keep the prices reasonable. What I love too is I love all artists. So I mean, there's other jewelry artists that I own their jewelry too. And so I want to make something that can be easily layered or mixed and matched with other, whether it's from Tiffany's or like another artist or whatever. Or like your wedding ring, it would look nice with another ring on your finger from Peacock. I also like that, when I'm at shows, I listen to what people want and I really observe what they're buying. And I don't know, I think they like that it's easily accessible and can be mixed and matched. So that's hard because I am honored that people ask me to make something special for them, whether it's they've lost a son or daughter or another loved one, and so I'll make memorial pieces for that. I've made jewelry for people from jewelry that was their grandma's or their mother's, or even from like silverware. I've made them jewelry that was, like a fork from their grandma's or something like that. And so that's always really special. But what really blows me away and touches me is when somebody finds a piece that I made without even knowing them, and it connects with them in their story in some way. And when they come back and find me and say, I bought this cuff for my friend because she just lost her son and it means so much to her and it's just a comfort piece to her, that's always just amazing to me. And it really gives me fuel to keep going and wanting to do this longer and continue to do it. So I don't want them to walk away with buyer's remorse, like, oh, I spent all this money, I hope I love this forever. And I think that keeping my stuff as affordable as I can, like there isn't that they're just happy and excited that it's something that, whether it inspires them or motivates them for something or is a reminder of something. And I want it to feel beautiful inside and out. I want it to be uplifting to their soul and also bringing them confidence inside and out. I also want it to be comfortable. Like I kind of have some sensory things. And so I'm really aware of like, how comfortable is this? Is it too heavy? Does it irritate me? Is it too long, too short, that kind of thing. So I want it to be physically comfortable, and then also just give them a boost of confidence. I want them to know that I truly appreciate every purchase that they make, that I really am thinking about them when I'm making things. And it really is an honor that I get to do what I love and make something for them, whether it's a gift for themselves or a gift for somebody else. And my message is just that I think if we could all embrace our imperfections more and accept that that little quirk that we have that we maybe don't think is good or whatever, that's really what makes us who we are. Just like a handmade piece of jewelry and the little imperfection of maybe I hammered a little bit too hard on one side, or I slipped with the torch and it got a little bit imperfect on one side, that it's that imperfection that makes it all of us unique and different, and that we should celebrate that more than we do. I was born in Rapid City. Like I said, we lived out there till I was 8, and my dad is a super outdoorsman, fisherman. So we were always outside hiking, fishing, cutting down our Christmas tree, driving across the state because my parents are from the east side. So I always remember that drive across the state with whether we drove through the Badlands or just on I-90 and saw the Badlands, stopping in Chamberlain to eat at the A&W and looking out over the river, and just the natural landscape of South Dakota and the beauty of it and the wide open spaces. I just have always loved. My husband and I are both, he's a Minnesota farm kid, but we both agree we're not big city people. We love to go visit that, but my heart is definitely in South Dakota. I love the people here. I went to elementary school in Sioux Falls at Oscar Howe, and without even realizing how much that inspired me and kind of just formed some of the art that I love. Like his art was all over our elementary school, and it was so beautiful. My mom and dad grew up near the Yankton Reservation, and so getting to see powwows and just different art there, just so inspiring with people of South Dakota, and just the open, not just the open spaces, but the open hearts and the generous hearts that are here really inspires me.